Coming up on this edition of Maximus Aviation's Newsweek in Review. Our top story is just breaking as the FAA orders the recently ungrounded Boeing MAX program to be grounded once again. I'll tell you why. And in more bad news for the Boeing MAX program, this week the FAA issued an additional airworthiness directive warning of problems with the MAX's fueling system processors that can lead to fire dangers on some Boeing MAX models. I've got the details. Well, move over GE as Rolls-Royce announced this week that they've begun work on the UltraFan, the world's largest jet engine. Also, Rolls-Royce announced that they have completed construction of the world's largest aircraft engine testbed structure. Meanwhile, in Japan Airlines has decided to retire their fleet of Boeing 777s with Pratt & Whitney engines a year ahead of schedule. I'll tell you why. Also this week, there's more bad news for Boeing's 777X launch customer Emirates Airlines, as once again the date for the arrival of their much-anticipated Boeing 777Xs have been delayed yet again. And finally, a frisky American couple attempted to join the Mile High Club, but they didn't want to do it in a plane. Instead, they wanted to do it jumping out of a plane. I'll let you know if their story had a happy ending or not. That's all coming up next on another jam-packed episode of Maximus Aviation's Newsweek in Review. Greetings everybody, Maximus here. Thanks for joining me. I've got a huge show for you this week, so let's not waste any time. Sit back, relax, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and get ready, because the news starts now. In breaking news, 4 U.S. airlines announced on Friday that they are grounding more than 60 of their 737 MAX jets after Boeing disclosed a potential electrical problem affecting the planes. The problem could affect a backup power control unit on jets used by 16 Boeing customers. It stems from a manufacturing problem, according to Boeing and the FAA. Boeing said the new problem isn't related to the previously problematic MCAS system that caused the initial groundings 2 years ago. Southwest Airlines said it was pulling 30 of its 58 MAX planes from service, while American Airlines said it would ground 17 of its 41 planes. United Airlines is pulling 16 of its 30 MAX planes, and Alaska Airlines will ground all 4 in its fleet. It wasn't clear Friday how many jets worldwide were affected. Boeing said it would work with customers to help them with the fixes, but it's not clear how long that might take. The FAA said in a statement that Boeing alerted them to the problem late Thursday. American Airlines said in a statement Friday that only the planes it received after the MAX was returned to service were affected. As we shared when we returned the 737 MAX to commercial service, the safety of our customers and the team members comes above all else, American said. It's with this unequivocal standard that we rigorously maintain and monitor all of our aircraft, including the Boeing 737 MAX, to ensure every plane in the air is safe. The recommendation to ground flights is being made to allow for verification that a sufficient ground path exists for a component of the electrical power system, Boeing said in a statement. The FAA also announced this week that they are ordering a modification on the Boeing 737 MAX fuel systems. In June of 2020, Boeing detected a problem with the jet's fuel system. As a result of the findings, the FAA issued an airworthiness directive ordering MAX operators to modify the jet's fuel system processors. According to Flight Global and the FAA, an airline operating the MAX experienced problems with the jet fuel shutoff system during refueling. As a result, the FAA is requiring airlines to replace the jet's fuel system processors. After detecting the issue in June of 2020, Boeing notified the FAA and issued procedures to airlines for replacing the fuel quantity processor unit. According to the FAA, if the affected airlines don't replace the processors, it may result in an overfill of the main fuel tank, causing a possible fire risk due to overflowing jet fuel spilling onto the ground. The FAA is stating that the condition occurs especially during refueling of the MAX's right side fuel tank. They said the system doesn't work correctly, stating that if the automatic shutoff valve fails to close, the system does not indicate with a flashing or audible warning from the fuel processor. As a result, it is mandatory that airlines replace the MAX fuel processors. Rolls-Royce has begun work on what they are calling the world's largest aircraft engine demonstrator, going by the trademark name the UltraFan. The engine is being constructed at the Rolls-Royce Demo Works facility in Derby in the United Kingdom. The UltraFan has a fan diameter of 140 inches. That's 8 inches larger than the present world record holder, the GE9X, currently powering the Boeing 777 series, which measures 132 inches in diameter. The demonstrator engine is the basis for a potential new family of UltraFan engines capable of powering both narrow-body and wide-body aircraft and is estimated to deliver 25% greater fuel efficiency compared with the first generation of Trent engines. The engine will have a combination of carbon and titanium fan blades and a composite casing that will reduce the weight of up to 1,500 pounds per aircraft. The first engine assembly is expected to be complete by the end of 2021. Rolls-Royce says that since gas turbine engines will continue to be the bedrock of long-haul aviation for many years, the UltraFan's efficiency will help improve the economics of an industry transition to more sustainable fuels, which are likely to be more expensive in the short term than traditional jet fuel. Rolls-Royce says that the first test run of the engine will be conducted on 100% sustainable aviation fuel. Well, if you're going to build the world's biggest engine, you're going to need the world's biggest test platform. Rolls-Royce reported that it tested a Trent XWB engine on its new Testbed 80 at Derby, England, dubbed the world's largest and smartest indoor aerospace testbed. The $122 million, 81,000 square foot testbed has been under construction for almost 3 years. Testbed 80 was designed to test a range of engines including the Trent XWB and the Trent 1000, but will especially be used to test Rolls' future UltraFan engine as well as future hybrid or all-electric flight systems. It will be able to accommodate engines producing 155,000 pounds of thrust. According to Rolls-Royce, that's enough power to launch a Boeing 747 with a single engine. The Testbed 80 data systems are faster than those in place for any of Rolls-Royce's existing testbeds, delivering data directly to secure storage and linked to analytical models. We can collect data from more than 10,000 different parameters on an engine, using an intricate web of sensors that detect even the tiniest vibrations at a rate of up to 200,000 samples per second. Also, the testbed features an X-ray machine that is able to capture 30 images per second and beam them directly to a secure cloud where engineers around the world can analyze them, as well as 10,000 other data parameters. Rolls-Royce claims to be the only engine manufacturer in the world with the capability to X-ray engines while they are running, meaning it's possible to inspect engines in greater detail and collect highly precise data. Japan Airlines announced it has retired its fleet of 13 Boeing 777s with Pratt & Whitney engines a year earlier than planned, having suspended operations in February after an engine on a United Airlines 777-200 exploded over Colorado. Japan Airlines has decided to accelerate the retirement of all Pratt & Whitney-equipped Boeing 777s by March 2021, which was originally planned by March of 2022, the Japanese airline said on Monday in a notice on its website. JAL said it would use newer Airbus A350s on domestic routes to Osaka's Atami Airport and use international planes for other domestic routes to help maintain flight frequencies. JAL had an incident of its own with the PW4000 engines in December, when a malfunction forced the Tokyo-bound JAL 777 to return to Naha Airport. The engines are found on only a small number of older 777s operated by JAL, United Airlines, ANA, Korean Airlines, Asiana Airlines, and Jin Airlines. Well, Boeing's 777X program is in a state of disarray. At least that's the view of Emirates airline president Tim Clark, who has revealed that the Middle Eastern carrier may not receive its first of the aircraft until as late as the end of 2025, 5 years later than originally scheduled. During a webinar organized by Simple Flying on April 8th, Clark said we should have had our first delivery in June of last year, and so far we have no visibility on when the first one will arrive. Clark says that following discussions with Boeing Commercial Airplanes Chief Executive Stanley Deal, he expects the jets will begin arriving either at the end of 2023, 2024, or possibly even 2025. Boeing hasn't commented on Clark's assessment yet. Emirates had planned to begin replacing some of its A380s with the 777-9, a strategy that would have enabled Emirates to build capacity while retiring its oldest aircraft. Delays mean that such a move has been pushed back, but we don't know by how much at this stage, he said. Really quick before our last story, have you ever wanted to see yourself on YouTube? Well, here's your chance. For those of you that may not know, Maximus Aviation has a couple of great merch shops filled with everything from hoodies and hats to rugged phone cases and coffee mugs to sports bottles and much more. Believe it or not, this YouTube thing isn't exactly cheap to produce, so a great way of supporting the channel could be to purchase some of our great swag. And if you do, I would like you to take a picture of yourself or someone you love in a t-shirt or drinking from a mug or talking on a phone or chilling in a hoodie. Then take that picture and send your name and where you're from and email it to aviationmaximus@gmail.com, and I'll be sure to get you in the next video. Who knows, it might make you famous. Or at the very least, it will help me to continue to bring you the very best aviation content I can. Of course, the link is always in the description. And finally, this last story isn't exactly from this week. As a matter of fact, it's from 2014. But apparently, due to pandemic binge watching, it's been trending again. I'm pretty sure it's the first time you're hearing about it too. We'll talk about getting into the Mile High Club. Those of you unfamiliar with this term might want to Google it. According to the Daily Mail this week, a frisky American couple ended up in the hospital after attempting to join the Mile High Club after jumping out of an airplane. William and Leslie shared their crazy tale of mid-air love in a 2014 episode of TLC's What Sent Me to the ER. The very amorous and adventurous lovebirds thought it would be fun to hook up, literally while skydiving, but ended up getting so caught up in the passion that William failed to open his parachute on time, leaving him with injuries to his face and, shall we say, his nether regions. In a clip from the episode, the dynamic duo explained that they'd been dating for a little over a year and loved to get their blood flowing in more ways than one. I'm an adrenaline junkie and she's an adrenaline junkie in training, and she loves it and I love it, said William. Leslie said, sometimes William can just look at me and bam, it's gotta be on. When it comes to our love life, she says, I come up with all the ideas. I come up with a lot of different ways to try and enhance things, so to speak, she added. So once while the couple were preparing to go skydiving, Leslie had an idea. The two should, connect, shall we say, while in free fall. She knows better than to throw a challenge at me, William said in the interview. She knows her desire immediately becomes my desire. You don't know what's going to happen when you put two bodies together at that kind of fall rate, William admitted. But Leslie said that they were both wearing baggy shorts, and I thought we would just be able to accomplish the task without a hassle. So after they both leapt from the plane, they did exactly what they planned to do. But they both got so caught up in their mile-high, shall we say, aerobatics, that they stopped paying attention to the rapidly approaching Earth. The problem was that they lost track of time, or a better word would be altitude, and they weren't paying attention to how rapidly the Earth was moving towards them. The next time I look at the timer, it hits me, we're in trouble, William said. So he deployed Leslie's parachute first, but he had a little trouble with his own. This led to him hitting the ground much harder than he wanted to. When I saw him on the ground, the first thought I had was, he's dead, Leslie said. He wasn't, but his face was bleeding and he was suffering groin pain. Not only might I be done skydiving, but I may never be able to please my wife again, he recalled. The pair rushed to the emergency room where William was told he had a broken nose and some swelling and bruising where the harness had pinched him, shall we say, south of the equator. I actually thought that our love life was completely done, Leslie said. However, the doctor reassured them he would be just fine in a few weeks. Kinda gives new meaning to leave the rubber on the runway, huh? What can I say? It's been a slow aviation news week. Well, that wraps it up for this edition of Maximus Aviation's News Week in Review. How about you? You ever consider joining the Mile High Club, jumping out of a moving airplane? Let me know down below. And before you go, as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and ring that bell. And remember, whether you're a skydiver or not, leave the rubber on the runway and your troubles on the ground. And I will see you next time in the air. Yeah, this is Maximus.